Welcome! We are excited to share the Family Engagement Toolkit and Self-Assessment with you. This presentation is for all educators, including general and special education staff, school and district administrators, and other school staff that are interested in learning more about what the Vermont Family Engagement Toolkit and Self-Assessment is, and how to provide an overview of all the Toolkit and Self-Assessment has to offer you. We hope you'll find it a helpful resource to improve your family engagement practices. The purpose of this presentation is to introduce you to the Vermont Family Engagement Toolkit and Self-Assessment, including the content of the toolkit and how you can use it as a resource. By the end of this presentation, you will have a good understanding of the 7 core principles of family engagement that were used as the foundation for the toolkit. You'll also know what's in the toolkit and how to use it to improve your approach to family engagement. In 2018, the Vermont Family Engagement Toolkit was developed as part of the Vermont State Systemic Improvement Plan, which is intended to improve proficiency of math performance for students identified as having emotional disabilities in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. The toolkit can be used as a resource by teachers, administrators, and other school staff to ensure all children and families receive the needed support for academic achievement and success. Let's begin our review of the toolkit by getting familiar with the 7 core principles of family engagement. These principles serve as the framework for this toolkit and self-assessment. It is important that you understand each and how it relates to your professional practice. Each of the 7 principles of family engagement provide you with a solid foundation for identifying, understanding, and meeting the needs of families you serve. The 7 core principles in the toolkit are based on a thorough review of national and local evidence-based or evidence-informed family engagement standards. The 7 principles focus on 1. Creating a welcoming environment. 2. Building effective two-way communication between families, schools, and communities. 3. Supporting the success of students. 4. Sharing power and responsibility. 5. Partnering with the community. 6. Providing equity and access. And 7, ensuring sustainability of effective family engagement practices over time. Let's look at each core principle in a bit more detail. The next several slides provide a brief description of each core principle, as well as some examples, but please refer back to the toolkit for comprehensive information about each principle. Creating a welcoming environment for families and the community is the first core principle. Welcoming school environments are created through building trust and making meaningful connections with children and families. Creating a welcoming environment that is responsive to students' unique strengths and needs, and making sure everyone feels valued as a member of the classroom and school community is important. In practice, schools that create a welcoming environment help families establish a relationship with staff members who will make sure families feel comfortable sharing their thoughts and opinions. Something as simple as making sure families are greeted when they enter the school building and having a clear sense of where to go in the building will go a long way. Building effective two-way communication is the second core principle. To make this possible, there must be a variety of ways to communicate information within and outside of the school environment. Additionally, there must be processes in place to share different types of information, including student progress, school events, and family concerns or questions. Communication between families and school staff should be ongoing and should encourage authentic interactions between staff and families that meet the unique cultural and linguistic needs of families. In practice, communication with families should be timely, respectful, collaborative, and honest. Information should be given to families with enough time for them to process the information and respond. Communication across roles is important, as is giving families the opportunity to provide input regularly on issues or concerns to ensure their voice is heard. The third core principle is supporting the success of students. Educators must work collaboratively with families to support student success both inside and outside of school. It is important to believe that families are key and necessary partners when it comes to making sure a student's learning and development continues outside of the classroom. In practice, getting to know families, their situations, culture, and resources will help educators develop partnerships with each unique family. It will also help educators understand how to best support each student's learning outside of school in ways that are meaningful to them. To support the success of students, it is important to look at how power and responsibility is being shared. This is core principle 4. Families, school staff, and community members should all be treated as partners in planning, leadership, and decision-making to support the learning of all students. In practice, schools can make sure families, students, and community members are included in the development, implementation, and evaluation of critical school programs. A new initiative or program has a better chance of being successful if various stakeholders representing the diversity of families and staff have been involved in the planning. Core Principle 5 shows that schools are not alone in this. Partnering with the community allows families and students to receive the supports needed to extend learning beyond the classroom. Meaningful connections and collaboration with community partners can also strengthen your school's program. In practice, school and community supports may be used to promote students' progress, for example, in core academic areas, or in social and emotional growth and development. In order to best serve families, school staff should become more familiar with their own communities and establish meaningful working partnerships with one another. Core Principle 6 describes how educators can make sure all families are treated equitably and receive access to high-quality learning opportunities. This is accomplished by meeting families' diverse cultural, linguistic, and socioeconomic needs. As a step towards equity and access, schools can ensure advisory bodies and decision-making committees are a reflective representation of the families whose children attend the school. Cultural perspectives and beliefs shape how families approach and engage with the school community. In practice, becoming more aware of cultural influences and working to understand how a family's background may impact their interactions and engagement is critical to effective family engagement. Educators that are self-reflective and understand how their own culture influences beliefs and assumptions about students, families, and community members are likely to be more effective in their family engagement practices. Once powerful family engagement practices are in place, ensuring sustainability to maintain meaningful engagement with families is key. This is Core Principle 7. Maintaining effective family engagement requires ongoing intentional planning and evaluation, and requires adequate resources to support ongoing family engagement improvements. In practice, stakeholder feedback should be used to establish or update existing family engagement policies. Aligning family engagement initiatives with overall goals at the school, district, or state level will also support and sustain family and community engagement practices. Now that you have a basic understanding of the 7 core principles, let's look at the toolkit and how it can help you improve your family engagement efforts. The Vermont Family Engagement Toolkit and Self-Assessment is an easy-to-use, practical guide for educators that are seeking to develop new or enhance existing family engagement practices within a classroom, school building, district, supervisory union, supervisory district, or local community. Based on behalf of the Vermont Agency of Education, or AOE, this toolkit can equip you with strategies and practices to support meaningful partnerships with families. The toolkit features an accompanying self-assessment that you can complete alone or with other members of your school or district team, and use to reflect on individual, classroom, school-wide, and even district-wide practices. It can also help you identify focus areas for improving family engagement strategies. More on that in a moment. This toolkit and self-assessment was developed with all school personnel in mind. The toolkit is a resource classroom teachers, administrators, IEP team members, and other school professionals can use to improve their family engagement practices within the context of their own classroom, or to develop school-wide or district-wide initiatives. Both the toolkit and self-assessment will help you, whatever your role is, to build and sustain effective partnerships with families, including families of students with IEPs, or Individualized Education Programs. There are 3 recommended steps to take in order to take advantage of all the toolkit has to offer. The first step is to become familiar with the core principles of family engagement defined in the toolkit. You've had a short overview, but use the toolkit to dig deeper into each core principle to learn what it means for you. These are important to understand since they serve as the foundation for improving family engagement practices. Once you have become familiar with the 7 core principles, you then can complete the self-assessment, which will allow you to reflect on how each core principle shows up in you or your school's or district's current family engagement policies, procedures, and practices. Finally, you will use your results from the self-assessment to identify areas of opportunity in your professional practice and to plan for family engagement activities. The toolkit provides a wealth of strategies, tools, and resources that you may select from to improve your family engagement practices. It is important to note what the toolkit isn't, so that it can be used appropriately. The toolkit is not a checklist that should be completed from beginning to end, nor is it a definitive list of all of the strategies that could be used to improve family engagement. Rather, it is a comprehensive way to look at family engagement, as well as a jumping-off point for group or individual brainstorming. Strategies may be adapted, changed, or not used at all, depending on the unique needs of the staff and the families in your school community. Ideally, the self-assessment should be completed by school or district-based teams seeking to improve family engagement practices program-wide. Teams should consist of administrators, special educators, general educators, families, and other school staff who interact with families as part of their work. Individuals seeking to improve their personal practices can also complete the self-assessment independently. There are two main ways that the self-assessment may be completed by a team. First, a team may opt to fill out the self-assessment as individuals and then come together as a team to share individuals' responses and come to consensus on the final ratings. Or, the team can complete the self-assessment together, choosing ratings as they go through each section. The toolkit includes sample process agendas to use to complete the self-assessment as a group or to discuss individual responses on the self-assessment. After completing the self-assessment, teams can use the self-assessment results to prioritize which of one or more core principles on which to focus for any improvement activities. The toolkit provides strategies and methods to implement the core principles into daily practice. This section provides administrators, classroom teachers, IEP team members, and other school professionals with strategies and quick wins, which are easy to implement, and effective strategies organized by each of the core principles. While this is not a comprehensive list of all possible approaches, it is intended to give ideas and inspiration. The administrators section of the toolkit focuses on strategies to build school-wide and district-wide approaches to family engagement. The teachers section of the toolkit provides targeted strategies for building a welcoming classroom for students and their families. In the section of the toolkit for IEP team members, strategies are provided to ensure meaningful participation by families in the student's IEP team meeting and overall learning experience. In the section of the toolkit for other school professionals, strategies are provided to ensure families are connected to and involved in their child's education. While it may be helpful to focus on the section most relevant to a specific role, it may also be helpful to review other sections for ideas about how to collaborate with colleagues on more systemic family engagement activities. Again, as you read through the strategies, it is important to keep in mind the toolkit is not a checklist that needs to be completed. Rather, the toolkit should be used as a reference packet to pull resources and ideas from to approach your work around family engagement. Strategies shared in the toolkit reinforce the idea that one size does not fit all when it comes to family engagement. The diversity of school and communities is now broader than it has been in the recent past, and how families engage in the school community is very different than it was even a few years ago. It is the responsibility of educators to reach and engage families in ways that are meaningful to them, and to create different ways for families to engage in their child's education. Regardless of role, the toolkit is written to help educators partner more meaningfully with all families. The toolkit is available for download on the Agency of Education website. If you have any questions regarding access or use of the toolkit, please email AOE. Thank you for viewing this presentation about the Vermont Family Engagement Toolkit and Self-Assessment.